So I was born in Wyckoff, New Jersey, one of 6 children. I was number 2, 4 boys, 2 girls, big Catholic family. So it was rough and tumble all the way. So you can only imagine with 4 boys all a year apart that were constantly roughhousing, very physical with each other. And I think for my mom's sanity, she discovered that wrestling was being introduced through Wyckoff recreation program back in the early 70s. So she enrolled all of us. I think I started wrestling in the 5th grade was when when I was first introduced to the sport of wrestling. But I soon discovered that, wow, I really loved kind of going one-on-one against an opponent, and the feeling of coming off the mat and getting your arm raised was just so unique, and it was just so rewarding that at that very early age, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, I knew I was caught, and I was a wrestler. But high school, I had an amazing coach, George Bennett. What I think he gave us was just an incredible work ethic. He pushed us harder than we believed we could go, and those are some of the things that I've held on to for my entire life. My younger brother, Mark Cannon, state champ from New Jersey, made it to West Point ahead of me, and I was so intrigued by what my brother was going through, the experience at West Point, the challenges he was going through, driving tanks at Fort Knox, rappelling down cliffs, all the amazing things that are part and parcel of the West Point education. I watched my brother do that, and I said, I need to join him. The most meaningful part of my wrestling career was being able to compete with my brother. We were one class apart. We were in the same company C4, so we were able to be together kind of all the time. We competed on the mats. We hugged each other after wins and losses. We got down on a knee before every single match and said a quick prayer together. We were each other's mutual supports and best friends, and that connection that I got with my brother at West Point on the wrestling mat was the most meaningful thing, and I carry that and treasure that because I've lost my brother, and those memories are really, really significant. I graduated with one of the top leadership positions. I was a regimental commander at West Point, so in a very tough environment, was still able to differentiate myself through wrestling and academics. The rigors of wrestling and the conditioning and the grit that it takes to be good on the mat really, really helped me. So at West Point, one of the things I'm very proud about is that I graduated number 1 in my class in physical fitness. As we graduated, Ranger School. Now, Ranger School is a 2-month training course that is designed to test small unit leadership under the most adverse conditions. And if it wasn't for Coach Bennett and for Coach Steers, who always gave you those last-minute drills, 60 more seconds, 60 more seconds, and that 60 more seconds went on for 25 minutes, without that experience of having been pushed beyond what you thought was your limit, I don't think I would have had the wherewithal, and certainly Ranger School pushed way beyond the limit that I ever expected that I could endure. So it was another amazing experience for me. I decided at the end of my 5-year commitment that I was going to leave the Army. I had an amazing experience, got to live abroad, learned the language. While I was living in Germany, I picked up German, which served me well in my next job, to work as the Chief of Staff for the President and CEO for Mercedes-Benz in North America. So that was my very first job. He liked the West Point background. He liked the fact that I spoke German, that I'd served in the military. He didn't care that I didn't know anything about the car business. And under his tutelage, in 2 years that I worked directly for the CEO, I kind of feel like I learned 10 years worth of experience, and I was able to apply that throughout my career. In 2012, I got the opportunity to move from the job of Chief Marketing Officer to the CEO for Mercedes-Benz USA. And on our watch, we made the decision to move our corporate headquarters, and we moved from New Jersey, where we'd been since the late 1950s, and moved here to Atlanta, Georgia. And suddenly I was confronted with an opportunity to work with a business icon, make a career transition from the car industry into the sports industry. Those opportunities don't come along very often, and it was just so compelling and exciting that I decided to take a leap of faith out of one industry into another, and here I am at the AMB group. The AMB is for Arthur M. Blank. That's his portfolio of companies that I now have the privilege of working with.
He's a wrestler by nature. It's great tenacity, doesn't give up, keeps going forward, all the things which I think, although I've never wrestled personally, but I've watched enough wrestling to know what it takes. And I think that those skills he developed have now applied to his style of leadership and his style of relationship to our senior management team. So I think that it's a great blessing for him and for us to have all those key instincts and key values and bring them to play with us.
So I'm the CEO of the AMB group. It includes this stadium, incredible stadium. It includes the Atlanta Falcons of the NFL, Atlanta United, the reigning MLS champions, as well as a group of PGA Tour Superstores. It's a national chain of golf retail. So that's the portfolio of companies that I have the privilege to be a part of. I had a tough experience back in 2010, lost one of my classmates. He was a full colonel, John McHugh, serving in Afghanistan, and he was killed by a suicide bomber. Well, a small group of us from West Point got together to take care of his family, and that has now transformed into an amazing thing. We took care of John's family, we started raising money, we transformed it into the Johnny Mac Soldiers Fund.
Johnny Mac, by providing scholarships, is not just helping me pay a tuition bill. They gave me hope.
And in the intervening 4 years since we started this, we've raised $20 million, and we provide college scholarships for Gold Star kids. Those are kids that have lost their heroes, their moms and dads, in service to country. So that's one little way that I get to give back, even though I traded my uniform out about 30 years ago.
Steve is a great American. You can look at his life's work from the time he started at West Point, through his service in the Army, through his service today as a senior corporate executive. Steve has deep love of country, and you see that through his founding of the Johnny Mac Soldiers Fund.
I am such a fortunate guy. I've got 9 beautiful children, 7 girls, 2 boys. I want to thank my wife, Ann. 20 years together. It's been a wonderful, incredible journey, and I would choose you every single day of the week to take this journey again and again. For me, being inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame is just an incredible honor. I'm humble, I'm grateful, feel a little bit like I don't deserve to be in that kind of company. But to be inducted as an outstanding American, it's just humbling. That kind of recognition doesn't come along every day, and I'm proud as can be that my connection to wrestling now has me sort of getting ready to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Wow.